What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest questions in basketball right now. Can anyone stop the Oklahoma City Thunder? The Thunder have hit a new level. They're playing fast, playing smart, playing together, and most importantly, they're winning. After their incredible championship run last season, they've come into this year with a blazing start and the kind of confidence you only see in a team that knows exactly who they are. But as dominant as Oklahoma City looks, the NBA is never short on challengers. This season, there's 4 teams in particular that stand out as real threats: the Houston Rockets, the New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Denver Nuggets. And these aren't just random teams. These are squads with major star power and the exact skill sets needed to give the Thunder problems. So sit back, buckle up, and let's break down whether anyone, and I mean anyone, can slow down this young powerhouse in OKC. To understand whether they can be stopped, we first have to understand why they're so hard to stop in the first place. The Thunder have built something rare, a true modern basketball machine. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander continues to play like an MVP candidate. His pace, patience, and 3-level scoring ability make him one of the most dangerous offensive players in the league. But what separates Shai from other stars is how efficient he is. He never forces shots. He never looks rushed. He dictates the tempo like a veteran and breaks down defenses like a surgeon. Then there's Chet Holmgren, one of the most unique two-way players the league has ever seen. 7 feet tall, rail thin, blocks everything, stretches the floor, and moves like a guard. He's the center that turns Oklahoma City's defense into a fortress. His presence alone changes how opponents attack the paint. If you try to challenge him at the rim, you fail. If you try to pull him out to the perimeter, he moves his feet like a wing. When you think you've beaten him, he recovers and still contests. Jalen Williams continues to ascend into borderline all-star territory. Alex Caruso gives them championship-level toughness and perimeter defense. Lou Dort is still one of the strongest on-ball defenders in the sport, the type of guy who can make even elite scorers miserable for 48 minutes. Add in Cason Wallace, a deeper bench, multiple shooters, wings who can switch everything, and you get a team that feels unfair. But the Thunder's biggest strength is their identity. They don't care who scores. They don't care who finishes. They play some of the best team basketball in the league, and that connectingness makes them incredibly hard to break apart. Still, no matter how good a team is, there are always cracks you can poke at. The Thunder still struggle on the defensive glass at times. They can get stuck in stretches where they rely too heavily on Shai's isolation scoring. And physically, stronger teams can bully them inside if Chet gets into foul trouble. So that opens the door for challengers. In this season, there are 4 teams in particular that look built to test the Thunder in ways most teams simply can't. So let's start with the Denver Nuggets. This is a franchise that has recently won it all and come back with a chip on their shoulder. With Nikola Jokic at the helm, they still possess one of the most unique generational talents at center in the history of the game. Jokic's passing, scoring, and decision-making from the high post or the elbows simply change how you design your defense. But the Nuggets don't just ride Jokic. They surround him with shooters, wings who defend, and intelligent role players who understand what winning takes. They combine size and skill in a way many teams cannot. They still have the ability to control pace, dominate the half court, and punish second-chance opportunities. In a matchup against the Thunder, Denver presents a formidable stylistic challenge. When OKC wants to push tempo, transition, and exploit switch-heavy defenses, the Nuggets are comfortable playing slow, fatiguing you in the half court, and forcing you into contested jumpers or broken possessions. Jokic opens up the floor. He draws helpers and kicks the shooters. The living room for those shooters is wide. If Denver wants to beat OKC, they need to win 3 things: rebound the ball, minimize turnovers, and make the Thunder defend late possessions. If Jokic gets his assists and the shooters knock down open looks, the Nuggets not only match OKC, they threaten to win. But here's the issue. While Denver has the experience and smarts, they're slightly less explosive than the Thunder. They are less apt to blow you out in transition, and when the Thunder switch and move the ball, they force Jokic to defend in space more than he may be comfortable. Also, OKC's length and rim protection with Holmgren makes second-chance points and interior scoring more difficult than most teams foresee. Still, if I had to pick one team that poses the most threat to the Thunder right now, I'd say the Denver Nuggets sit at the top of the list. The rest will have to bring their A game just to get to their level. So let's move to the Houston Rockets. This is not the rebuilding Rockets from a few seasons ago. This is a young, explosive, hyper-athletic team that just added one of the greatest scorers of all time, Kevin Durant. Combine KD with Amen Thompson and Alperen Şengün, and suddenly the Rockets look like one of the most uniquely dangerous teams in the league. Amen Thompson might be the best pure athlete in basketball right now. His first step doesn't make sense. His vertical is absurd. His defensive instincts and on-ball pressure are already elite, and he's still just scratching the surface. When you watch him, you see a player who's going to be an All-NBA defender and maybe more. Şengün is the perfect contrast. While Amen is all speed and explosiveness, Şengün is all feel and craft. He's a mini Jokic, a brilliant passer, a master of angles, and a player who can bend defenses with his creativity. When Şengün gets the ball in the post or at the elbow, the whole offense comes alive. And when KD is spacing the floor next to him, just forget about it. The Rockets can score with anyone, but what makes them interesting against OKC is that they can defend too. Amen Thompson guarding Shea would be one of the most electrifying matchups in the league. Şengün pulling Holmgren away from the basket forces the Thunder into uncomfortable rotations. KD gives them a closer who can match Shea shot for shot. If Houston wants to beat OKC in a playoff series, they need to do three things: push the pace, attack the glass, and force Holmgren into tricky situations. They need Şengün picking apart the defense. They need Amen creating havoc in transition. And they need KD to just be KD, efficient, calm, and unguardable. The Rockets may not be the most experienced team, they may not be the deepest team, but matchup-wise, they're absolutely capable of giving the Thunder real problems. Now let's shift to the East and look at the New York Knicks. The Knicks adding Karl-Anthony Towns gave them a stretch big who can shoot over anyone. But what makes them especially dangerous now is how seamlessly Cat fits next to the rest of their roster. They still have Jalen Brunson running the show. They still have Mikal Bridges giving them elite two-way play, as well as OG Anunoby. And they still have the toughness and glue that defines the Knicks. Guys like Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson. Cat at the 5 or even the 4 creates matchup chaos for opponents. With his spacing, Brunson suddenly has more room to operate than ever. With Bridges, they have a wing who can defend Shea without fouling and still get 20 points on the other end of the floor. And with Mitchell Robinson, they have one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA, controlling the paint. Against the Thunder, the Knicks represent something very different from Houston. They're not built on youth and athletic chaos. They're built on physicality, discipline, and a system that punishes mistakes. They slow the game down. They grind every possession. They make you feel them. The Knicks' advantage against the Thunder comes from two things: size and shot making. Cat pulling Holmgren to the perimeter forces OKC to help off shooters, which opens up cutters and drives. Brunson can control the tempo and attack mismatches. Bridges can oscillate between scoring and defending Shea. And Josh Hart plays like he's powered by pure New York pavement, diving, rebounding, fighting through screens, making winning plays. The key for the Knicks is forcing OKC to play a half-court game. If they can take away transition, dominate the boards, and turn this into a slow, physical series, they can absolutely take the Thunder to the limit. Finally, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that isn't flashy, doesn't always dominate headlines, but is quietly building something very real. With Darius Garland running point, Donovan Mitchell running the 2, Evan Mobley developing into one of the most versatile defenders in basketball, and Jarrett Allen anchoring the paint, the Cavs bring a level of size and stability that few teams can match. What makes Cleveland compelling against OKC is their defensive versatility. Mobley is one of the few bigs in the league who can legitimately switch onto Shea and not get torched. Allen protects the rim without needing to double. Their wings fight over screens. Their help rotations are tight and disciplined. Offensively, Cleveland doesn't rely on isolation. They move the ball. They cut. They play at a pace that can frustrate a young team like the Thunder. Garland's pick-and-roll game with Mobley or Allen can bend a defense in ways OKC isn't used to seeing, and Donovan Mitchell can score in isolation. But Cleveland's biggest challenge will be scoring enough. Their defense gives them a chance, but can they generate consistent offense against OKC's length? That's the question. If Garland and Mitchell get hot, if Mobley takes another step offensively, and if their role players rise to the moment, they are absolutely dangerous. If not, Oklahoma City can overwhelm them with depth. Still, the Cavs match up with OKC better defensively than almost anyone. And sometimes in the playoffs, that's all you need. So now that we've gone through the challengers, the big question remains. Can any of them actually knock off the Thunder? The Nuggets have the experience. The Rockets have the explosiveness. The Knicks have the discipline. The Cavaliers have the defensive framework. All four pose real, legitimate matchup problems. But Oklahoma City has something none of them have. Championship experience combined with youth, the kind of connectedness that only comes after a deep run. They know what it's like to climb the mountain. They know how to make adjustments. They know how to close games. And perhaps most importantly, they've already been tested under the brightest lights. If you force me to pick one team with the best chance, I'd go with the Denver Nuggets. Their combination of size, shooting, defense, and half-court execution is tailor-made for a deep playoff run. But make no mistake, all four are dangerous. All four are coming, and all four could give the Thunder hell in a 7-game series. But can they stop them? As of right now, I'm not convinced. The Thunder are young, they're hungry, they're connected, and unless someone steps up in a major way, I think Oklahoma City remains the team to beat. Not just this year, but for years to come. And that's going to do it for today's deep dive. What do you think? Can the Rockets, Knicks, Cavaliers, or Nuggets dethrone the Thunder? Or is OKC about to begin a dynasty that dominates the rest of the decade? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one for some more NBA content.